These my dollars make it hurt.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another video. This is Elite Football Training. Michael here. Today we have a special guest with us. As you know, on this channel, we're all about sharing experiences and helping you guys make better decisions on your in your journey as footballers and everything. So what I decided to do is I decided to interview one of my dear friends, a former teammate of mine that comes from Austria. He's a central defender. I thought it'd be good if he gave you guys some insight into uh, his life playing, everything about football from where he comes from. You know, uh, knowing you guys are always hearing from me, and you guys know I came through the United States system here, so we do things a little bit differently than in Europe. So without further ado, let me introduce you guys to Florian, Florian Albright. Welcome to the channel, Florian. Thank you for taking the time to come out today.
Hi, you're welcome.
How's everything going, Flo?
Good.
Good.
Good to be back in Austria. It's good.
Warmer weather than Wisconsin.
Definitely, yeah.
That's good. Yeah, so Flo, just tell the viewers, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself. Tell them about just some big points in your career, footballing wise. Just let them know a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, as Michael told, I'm a center back. Sometimes I played defensive midfield as well. I started, let me think, back when I was 6 or 7 years old. Like at first, I want to explain a little bit the system in Europe that you can understand it because it's different than the United States system. As everybody knows, it's like in the United States, you play for your school, you play for your university. In, I don't know all Europe, but like in Austria, Germany, like Central Europe, in several countries, it's different because we play for a club. So there is no linkings between schools and clubs. There's literally nothing. So we have school teams, but it's like just for fun. You play the important thing is the club or other clubs. You can change your club, but still be in the same school. So it's a little bit different. It's not like you need to transfer or anything like in the United States to play for another club, like another team or anything. So yeah, that's different. And as I told you, I started when I was 6 and still playing.
So tell the viewers and the guys at home, like, so starting age 6, take us through like what happens from, like, let's say age 6 to about like 12. Like, take us through like your experience and what you went through.
Like at 6, it's difficult to remember at first, but as I know, it's like just about fun. Like the first 1 or 2 years are about fun. You just come together, have fun, kick the ball, run randomly around the field. It's like nothing. Like it's hard to tell kids of like age 6, do this, do that, do this, do that. So the first 1 or 2 years, it's just about fun and getting used to a ball, to run with the ball, like everything like that. And then I would say like at 7, 8, between 7 and 8, you start like doing all the passing drills, the passing patterns, how to control the ball, just that. So there is no tactics or anything at this point. So I would say until 12, 13, you do all this stuff. So they try to build a basic level. Everybody should be at this level. And then when you get older, like 13, 14, 15, you can focus on different things. So you don't need to explain to your players how to control the ball, how to pass the ball, like the technique of it. You explain them where to pass the ball, like where to control the ball, to the right side, to the left side, to the back, anything like that. That's like, I would say, different than to the United States system.
I know for me, the youth system, I know for sure we did the first years, like you mentioned, was a lot about like just have fun, come together, like just be there, and it's more just like engaging us so that we're just having fun. We don't know what we're doing, we're just running around basically like chickens. But like you said, later on is when coaches start to kind of dial in on like your technique, and like teaching you, like if you want to pass the ball, you use the inside of your foot, you do this, you follow through like this, you put your standing foot here, your hips are like this. So that's pretty, would you say that's pretty similar for both, in terms of like the you're basically being taught like the technical mechanics of the game, how to be technically like proficient in the game, how to kick the ball and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I think it's a little bit different because soccer in Europe is the biggest sport. And a lot of people, like in the United States, they start playing when they're like 10 or older, or let's say 12 or older, I don't know. And then you have to start with the basics again. And that's maybe a little bit differently to Europe, because most of the players here, or the people here, they start playing at like 6, 7, 8. That's like the age you start playing soccer. And yeah, so that's why I think, I wouldn't say the system is different, but kind of the level, or there's the stage where the players are at the certain age, that's like a little bit different.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So then after that, where I'm sure a lot of people probably are curious, is like high school. Because for me in high school, I played high school, you have like various options. You have like your MLS Academy guys. We used to have United States Development Academy. So these were kind of like the top end academies that you would go to. Uh, and then each state used to have ODP. I don't know if ODP is still a thing these days. We had ODP, and then you just had your normal like local club soccer program where a lot of kids would normally go play there, and you try out for the team and you make it. So you'd only train, you're in high school, and if you're playing high, like the club level, you'd maybe practice on a Tuesday nights, Thursday nights. We'd play matches on Saturday, Sunday, like back to back type of ordeal. So, excuse me. Uh, take us through, like in Europe, that high school, that like age 15 to about 19 period, at least for us here. What were you doing?
Let me come back first to the system, because like we play for a club, you can play like from 6 till 30 at the same club. So that's like a little bit different. And I was playing for, let me explain. Austria has 9 states. We have a league, like it's a national league. That's all the academies of the Bundesliga clubs. And then each state has like different leagues, different levels. And I played in the highest level of my state. At this point, we became champion once. Sometimes we were in the midfield. So yeah, and in high school, it was a pretty busy time, because I had school like until 5 p.m. and then drove straight to the facilities, practice, and then back home, and pretty much 4 times a week.
Yeah.
But during my high school, I only played 1 year at like the under 16s, and then I changed my club and I played for an adult team. So I
This
was
is the
playing when I
age
was
basically.
16.
Yeah,
You don't have
16.
to. We have under 18s. We have like, I think under 18s is like pretty much the oldest team we have, except
Mhm.
like the men. But yeah, usually if you're I wouldn't say you're a good player, but if you're like a player with ambitions or something like that, then you try to go to the adult team very quickly or very early, just to get used to it and to get as much experience as fast as you can. Like if you play, that what I can tell, it's like I was 15 and played with another center back. Obviously, I was a bench player back then, but the other center back was like 35. He was playing for all of his life, so he explained me a lot of things. He taught me a lot of things. I learned a lot, and that's what helped me a lot, to be fair.
So you're 16 playing with essentially like guys in their late 20s going into 30 as a 16-year-old.
That's what I did, yeah.
Wow. Because I know a lot of people, me personally, I only played up one, I was only playing with kids. I played up one age or two ages. That was like, you'd hear a couple people, it's common you'll hear a couple people play maybe two ages up. But in your case, we're talking about going from your 15, 16-year-old, and now you're playing with almost like full grown adults.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's also like the system in the lower ages. It's like we have under 7, under 8, under 9, under 10, and then I think it's 2-year gaps. I think it's 12, 14s, under 16s, and 18s, and that's it. Some teams don't even have like under 18 teams.
Wow. So like, what was this, you're 16, what's this 30, 32, 33-year-old, what's he telling you? Like, what's he telling you like in training and in games and stuff?
It's not like how to pass the ball and how to kick a ball, because you should know it, how it works or how it's done. He's trying to tell me, in this situation, try to do this thing, try to pass the ball like to this player in this situation, all these things, where to move, how to move. Like, you don't get it if you hear it once. You need practice, you need like time, you need to see all the things he's trying to explain, and then try to adapt, and then get feedback, ask questions also. So if I saw some things like differently than he did, so I asked him, and then he explained it, like why he's telling me that, like why this would help me. Like, it's hard to say what exactly he explained, because you need the situation to explain it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But essentially he was like taking you under his wing and basically like showing you the ropes of like, this is how we play football, and this is what you should do, Flo, in these situations. So
Exactly.
So looking back on it, like you'd say that was like I'm sure you'd say like that pretty much like sped up your development, because you're 16 playing with 32-year-old experienced players. So this basically like sped up your development.
Exactly. Yeah, it did.
Yeah. So you were basically like you were like a 16-year-old body, but with the footballing mind of like almost like a late 20-year-old.
Not when I was 16, but let's say after
a couple
a
years,
year or
after.
two, then you see improvement. It's not like this, and then you're a genius, or I don't know how to say it, but it's like it needs like time, and then you see the improvement.
Atmosphere, and what's the atmosphere like playing in those games, and because you're 16 playing basically on the adult team, so like what's the atmosphere, and just like what's the energy around like the team there? Like tell the guys, like tell the people at home how it feels and everything, like your emotions and like what you're thinking while you're playing up basically.
It's like at first I wasn't playing for half a year, because I was kind of surprised about the difference between under 16s and like adults. It's like huge. I was one of the biggest players when I was 16, and I was like one of the smallest players when I came to the men's team. As center back, it's not good to be small. so
Yeah.
yeah, I needed to improve like in this point a lot. And then after half a year, my coach said, "Yeah, now it's time. I think you can start." I was kind of nervous, to be fair, in my first game. It was the fourth league in Austria. It's like nearly the highest amateur league, so non-professional. And yeah, it's like 500 fans are watching the game, screaming at you or cheering for you. It's like, it feels good, to be fair. It feels good. I was nervous, but it felt good.
Yeah. What what would the coach say to you? Like, how would he coach you? Because I mean, you've already told us like about how this older player basically took you under his wing. So like, what would the coach tell you like in trainings and in matches, and like what was the coach expecting out of you?
At first, he said, "Just believe in you." That was the first thing. Don't be scared. And it doesn't matter how tall the player is, you still can foul him. That's what he said. And listen to the other guys. And that's basically, he also explained things, but I would say that's the best advice is listen to all the players, to experience play. Not all the players, because if a player is old and hasn't played all his life, so he knows nothing, but to experienced players, listen to them. And yeah, try to do the things or to understand the things to say. That's the most important part. If you just listen and think, "Oh, that's bullshit," then yeah, but
What
try to understand it.
uh would he ever I don't know, would he ever rip into you? Because maybe he's trying to like I guess like get you to fit into the player like he's envisioning you. Like would he ever like rip you or like try to like was he soft with you when he coached, or was he like he was really getting at you? Like if you had a bad touch, you made a bad pass, he was on your case, or he was more understanding because you're a 16-year-old playing up basically.
Sometimes it was both ways, to be fair. Sometimes it was like, yeah, okay, but if I made like 5 bad touches, then he screamed at me like, that's, yeah, not good for a 16-year-old, but sometimes it wakes you up if you get screamed at or anything like that. So I think he was a good coach because he knew when to scream and when to say, "Okay, next time you do it better," like to understand it a little bit. So
He knew how to he knew how to get like a response out of you,
yeah,
the way a
yeah,
good response out of you basically.
yeah. He treated the players a little bit differently because it's, well, like, we had a player. He was very arrogant, but he was very good. He was our best player. He scored in one game 4 goals. We won this game 4-0. And he knew he can't say anything good to this player because he will be like over the top. So he said to him, "If you were a good player, you would have scored like 6 goals." That's what he said to him.
To get him to
So
put to basically
yeah,
make him feel like what he did
wasn't that good.
wasn't that
Obviously, it
good.
was good. It was good, but it wasn't like just to keep him
Motivated.
calm and motivated as well. And other players, they had a shit game, and he said, "No, it doesn't matter. Next game will be better." So
Definitely. What was training like? Like take us through like what was the training like? What was like the routine in for that team? Because here in the US, like if I think back to like how we trained for club, it was typically like we take like our one little practice jog around the field, and then we go into like maybe some technical stuff like some ball tosses and like one or two touch passing, and then we basically from there it's like we just go into like maybe some kind of a passing pattern, and then we play games that always have like restrictions, like the ball has to go to the boundaries or one touch, two touch, you have to combine first, stuff like that. So like tell the tell the viewers like what's it like training there in Europe? Is it completely different than like how it was for me, or like how is it like, with that adult team, like how was training conducted basically?
well, what you told now is like it's pretty much the same than over here. Yeah, it's maybe all the nearly all the passing patterns, they always like a little bit combined with tactics. He's like explaining, we do this drill because in game it will happen like pretty the same, like the players will be like in the same positions, and that's how you should we call it solve the
Puzzle.
I don't know, the problem or the puzzle. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, but the rest is like, I think it's pretty much the same. It's like a warm up. Then it's like passing patterns with tactics, and then games or like finishing. Yeah, or like small sided games. That's like pretty much the same. I think you can't be that different to. You can't act like or you train that differently to that. So yeah, I think it's in general the same.
I don't know if you've told the guys, but what was the level of this team you're playing on?
It was the fourth league in Austria.
So explain. Folks at home may not know the tier system. So take them from like the Bundesliga, then explain
We
like
have
where that
we have
team.
2 Bundesliga, like the Austrian Bundesliga and the second Bundesliga. And then there is they are both like Austrian wide, obviously, like all across Austria. Then we have 3 leagues, like in the third. There are 3, so it's like always 3 states in one league. And then there's the fourth league. It's like the league of one state. That's the highest league of the state. If you win this league, you get promoted to the third division. If you win the third one, you get promoted to the second division.
So you're basically fighting for that promotion spot, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Because okay.
Or also against relegation, you also can play for that.
Yeah, relegation spots as well. Because you were going through all this at like age 16. That's what like a lot of players at 16, most 16-year-old players here were fighting for a region, a high school conference championship or something of that.
That's the same. Like I think it starts under 12. You have a league, and the winner gets promoted, the loser gets relegated. So it's like in Austria, it's like a starting age 12. You experience everything like that for 3 points. Basically, you play every game for 3 points. We have a table with a league.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, here we don't have we have a point system, but for say like if my high school loses every single game, there's no threat to us. And if we win every single game, we'll be champions. But if we lose everything, we won't necessarily drop into another lower tier. So there's the pressure of going up, but there's no pressure of as soon as you hit the bottom, there's nothing else that you can't go any lower because at the next season you then can a team that won 0 games the very next season can easily become, well, not easily, but hypothetically could be like state or region champs because they're going to have to play against those same teams again. It wouldn't be like they fall into a whole nother category of teams that are because they were relegated.
I mean, the league system in Austria, I think, is very good because the level remains the same. Like teams that are used or they play the same level, they play in one league, so there are tight games. There are no games like ending 10-0, 7-0, 13-0 or something like that. All the games are like very tight. It's like 3-1, 2-1, 1-0, 0-0, 1-1, like all that stuff.
I see. So that means it's like
it's very competitive from the beginning.
It's very highly competitive, and then that margin for error is so small because it will be the difference between you winning and losing. Whereas if you play, there's so many factors that go into like when we're in high school, the teams that we play, because you could make a bunch of mistakes in one game and it won't punish you, and then for some high schools, they're in like a table kind of yours where all the teams are very close together. So little mistakes can see you fall out of even the top 4 or miss the playoffs, for example. So that's interesting you mentioned that. So
that's also different because you mentioned the playoffs. We don't have anything like that. We only have a league.
Just the league play. First is first and you win.
And we play like from August or Yeah, August till June. That's our season. So there is literally no off season, basically.
Yeah, it's a year-long, like it's a year-long campaign, basically.
Yeah, it's like the length of the season is pretty much the same as the professional teams, like you see in Europe.
Say here we go. It depends. Depends on the state and school, if it's a private or public school, but most people go say we could say February, and the state championship game would end May 6th, around there, and that's the season. So the season is so compressed. You end up playing easily. You could play 2-3 games a week, depending on your schedule. But for you guys, you guys would only play one game, I assume, right? One game per week.
Usually, yeah. Sometimes there is something we call like an English week, because they play that many games in the professional leagues.
Yeah.
But like then we play on Tuesday or Wednesday a game, but that's it. There are no weeks with more than 2 games.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I'm trying to think, because we don't really have, there's no time to recover. Like you finish one game, the next day is like a recovery day, but you can't just take a complete off day. And the very next day you're on the bus going somewhere else and you're playing again. Whereas I feel like in your case, you can build into the match on the weekend, then relax, then come the next week, you can start to build again into it. So
Exactly, yeah.
talk a little bit about like the culture in Europe. Like what are the 16, 17, and 18-year-olds, what are they doing around that time? Like what's the move basically? What do they do for fun and stuff like that? What were you doing?
Yeah, in Europe, the I'm not sure if I should say that, but the drinking age is 16 in Austria.
Yeah, I
So
mean, be
you you
honest.
you
Yeah, get
you
it.
you start your having your first nights out, obviously. If you were in sports, not that many nights, but you start doing that. And yeah, you play after a game, maybe you hang out with your friends or go out. Like the culture is not in Central Europe or in Western Europe, it's not that different to United States. What you do, it's like we watch sports, we watch all the soccer games, Champions League, Bundesliga, Premier League. Like we're all huge fans of all the teams. Basically, everybody has his own team or his own 2 or 3 teams he's following, watching it, and then yeah, watch sports, go out, hang out with friends, cinema, anything like that, shopping. That's it.
So the European football, because it's so big, was taking, I could say it was taking the place of like American football here, because American football is a huge American
Probably
football.
soccer is bigger in Europe than football is in America, because you have more sports. You also have basketball like the NBA and NHL and MLB. They Most of the fans they follow 1 or 2 sports, but they kind of split up a little bit. Here it's like soccer everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
There is only soccer.
I know at least in Georgia, when it's football season, it's football season. So everything is strictly, it's like go to class, what's Georgia doing? Go to class, what's Georgia doing? So football is like the lifeblood of like the fall, and it makes up a huge part of the culture. So a lot of things revolve around people going to work and then going to watch football. But for you, in your case, or American football here, in your case, it's just the football takes that spot. So you guys are watching like Champions League games probably during the week if you can go watch some of those, and maybe some of like the cup games and maybe some of the cup games that they have there in Austria. I'm sure those were a lot of the moves that you guys had.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, my city in Austria is like 2 hours away from Munich, and I'm not a big fan of them, but I was able to watch a lot of games live of Bayern Munich in the Champions League against Barcelona, against what else did I see, against Real Madrid. So it's great experience to see these guys live.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that's it's kind of yeah. What's it like? What's it like going to those games live? Because a lot of us here, we just get to watch them. I mean, majority of the games, if they're not MLS games, we just have to watch them on TV. We don't have the luxury of taking a train trip or something to go watch Bayern Munich play or Barcelona or some of those big European teams play. So what's that like?
Like European people are kind of crazy. Like the crowd is very loud. The atmosphere. It's. I also have been to NFL games, but you can't compare it. It's like
The passion's
chants
different.
90 minutes, even longer. It's 105 minutes or longer. During halftime, there is no halftime for the fans. So chants during halftime, chants before the game, chants after a game. So it's like it's different.
I see. I see. All right. So you how many years did you play for that how many years did you play for that adult team?
I played for them. Let me think about it. For this team, I played 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
So when was what did 4 years take you to? What year is this now? The fourth year.
The fourth year is now, it's not now, but the fourth
Yeah.
year was when I was 20. Then I started my current studies. It's medicine. Obviously, it's very exhausting, and that's
Yeah,
why I changed my
demanding.
club. Demanding, yeah. I changed my club to it's one league lower. It's not we don't have to drive as far because as I explained before, the fourth league is like state size, and the fifth, there are two leagues. They are like split in two, so the state is basically split up in two. And yeah, so we don't have to drive that far. And yeah, but it's practice is the same amount of practice, the same amount of games. So it's just not as competitive like as the higher league, obviously, but it's still a good level, high level. And yeah, that's why I was 20. I changed the club to my current club, and I'm still there.
All right. So then what intrigued you about coming to the US for to the US and potentially joining a college team?
I've been in the US before I decided to go like to university on vacation, and I've been there 3 times, so I enjoyed it. I like the culture, I like the people. Also, I like English, obviously. I thought it's a good move to practice English, to talk, to understand it better. And yeah, I was like, there is no chance I go to the United States without playing. So I at first I came because I wanted to go to the United States for a certain amount of time. And then I was like, yeah, but I have to play. And I just tried to find things, to figure out how I was playing there. And yeah, then I came across 2 friends. They both have played in the United States, like a D1 team both. Yeah, and I asked them, what did you do? How is it? And yeah, they explained me everything, and then I decided, yeah, sounds good. I'll try it.
What did what did your friends say about their them like like what did they say it would take for you to come and play here? Like what would it require, I guess, or like the basic requirements?
At first, they told like they had the same experience in Austria than I had,
Yeah.
and then they told me, yeah, it's like more about the physicality. Like it's like you have to be fit, you have to run, you have to like be strong, but it's not like the technique is not as good of the players that it is back home. That I only play with like people to a certain age, obviously, like universities, like mainly from 18 till 21, 22, something like that. And yeah, that's they say it's not. Let me think. They say yeah, it's running, strength. It's not as much tactics. It's more about kick and rush and fight all the game.
What
But level
was
is still high because they play in a D1 team. There were a lot of international players at these teams. They know how to play, but the culture, like the culture in soccer, is a little bit different. It's more about how good you are body wise and not about tactics as much as is in Europe. That's what they told me.
so what was so like take us through your process of coming here. So like what were you what were you looking for, and like what kind of school did you want to go to and stuff like that, and take us through like your recruiting process.
At first, my only thing was I want to come to the United States, so I wanted to go to a city like where I know it's gonna be fun. I didn't want to go like a college with 500 people and nothing around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like big city or like a bigger city, a student city, where is something going on? You know, it's not like that was my only thing I wanted to have. Like, and the team had to be good.
So you wanted to like go to like a essentially like a big town or a big city feel within a university like attached to that city. That way
Yeah,
there's always stuff to do like outside of playing basically.
exactly.
Okay. So then what did you what so like tell us how you came upon going to tell us like how you came upon going to the school that you went to.
It's like I told my two friends like, what did you do? How can I do it to play for a team, or how do the coach recognize me or anything? And they say, just write some emails. And then I sent like hundreds of emails to different coaches, and I got a response of a lot of them. And then my coach then emailed me back. Yeah, he wants to talk to me, and that's how it started.
What were those conversations like with these coaches? Uh you have to give us like all the details, but like you can say like a couple things that was common across a lot of coaches and stuff like that that like kind of stood out to you.
Yeah, he was explaining like what is going on, what are his plans, what is his like philosophy of the game, like how he understands it, how he wants to play, how he wants us to play, how he wants me to be or all the players to be. And yeah, he tried to explain everything like that. He tried to explain how a day would like in my situation. And then if I had any questions, he was ready to answer them.
So then now you find a school, so then now you're here. So then like take us through like first just like what were some of like your first impressions once you got here to the US and got into like college soccer preseason basically, because you got here in August.
like it was very exhausting because preseason in the United States is 2 practice each day, and I was used to 4 practices a week, 4 sessions a week, and here was I had the 4 sessions after 2 days.
Four
And
set after 2 days.
that's when I came here. So my legs were not only my legs, my whole body was sore, and yeah, I needed to adapt a little bit to that.
And how many days did you come before preseason? Because I'm sure you'd be a little jet lagged as well. Were you jet lagged?
Yeah, I was very jet lagged, but preseason started. When was it? I don't know. It was the first week of August, like 2nd or 3rd of August. I don't know exactly, but yeah, start of August, and I came on the 27th, so it wasn't of July, so it wasn't too bad, but I still was jet lagged there.
I know I've had teammates at my undergrad school where we've had one of us go to the airport, go get him. He comes and immediately he gets into like the 7 p.m. session at nighttime, and he's going on. He hasn't slept properly. He hasn't had like a
Yeah,
proper
that's
meal
tough.
yet.
That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, yeah. So how was preseason? How was preseason and like you said it was tough. What was like is it what you expected basically?
It was a lot of running. We had all the fitness tests, like the running tests. And yeah, it is the coach only has like 2 or 3 weeks until he decides who's playing. So it is a lot of just watching us play and see which players are better or which players he wants to start.
Yeah, so it's basically like a trial. You come in,
Yeah,
show what you can do, and then pieces start to like fit together. So you have to be, in a sense, you kind of have to be like a player you got to be adaptable to play with different players so that you can easily make like a good impression on the
yeah,
manager and
and
the
you
coach
have to be fit going into preseason. So preseason is not for building up fitness, but you have to be fit when you start.
when you start. Yeah, a lot of I know I've had a lot of European teammates that come with the they come with the mindset of preseason is the way it is in like Europe for the European clubs, where they're basically coming off vacation, so they ease them in, and then by the middle of preseason or towards the end, they're really sharp and fit, but then they realize American college soccer, you come into preseason and you should be almost very close to your very top shape. And then from there, you just hit the ground running.
That's it. For example, in winter in Austria, we don't have like a league games, but we only have like preseason from January till March. So that's like 3 months. We have like preseason. It's like we have games every week, but it's just friendly games. And yeah, so we have 3 months to build up all the fitness we or our coach wants us to have. So yeah, that's a huge difference to United States where you have to be fit once preseason starts.
Yeah, it's a pretty common theme across the board is you got to come in pretty much tip top shape. And then it's just, I don't know how you felt, but preseason, even if you come in top shape, it's very, very demanding on your body because
It is 2 sessions a
the
day. It's nothing that's like easy.
like tell the guys at home like how are you feeling like the first day preseason starts, you're completely fresh, so you feel good, but then tell them like at the end of that week after you've had double days from basically Monday until almost that Saturday, like how your legs feeling.
It was bad. My legs felt bad. It
Yo, you
was
can't
like
even walk at that point. You
yeah,
can't even walk.
my day was like waking up, breakfast, practice, then lunch, sometimes an hour of sleep, second practice, and yeah, dinner. That's it. Going to bed, and
Going to bed.
next day, here we go again.
Here we go again. The next day, it feels like you took like a 20-minute nap. You hear the alarm go off, and it's like, wait. In fact, and I don't know if it happens with you, but like preseason for me, I feel like I just lose track of days. It feels like because it feels you're doing the same thing over and over and over. It's
Yeah,
like, is this the same day or is this a new day? You don't
it's
know.
like yeah, you're stuck in a scene, and the scene
Yeah.
repeats, comes on and on. And
So then, like, okay, so now preseason's over. We're getting into the season now. So what, going into the season, I mean, the guys at home, you guys don't know, but Flo was my teammate here at Viterbo University. So Flo came in, made a really good impression, ends up being named one of coach's starters. So like, tell us your experience going into the first couple games and like, tell us like going into the season how you're feeling and all that.
Yeah, it felt good to be a starter at first, but then I realized very quickly that the type or style of play is different. It's like just straightforward, like attack, attack, attack. There is no, I don't know. It's different. It's like just try to score a goal with every possession, not like half possession and just relax. It's just like play forward, try to score.
So with the team you played for in Austria, you guys would, I guess, it wouldn't just be like it's not like a basketball game where you're just constantly forward, 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 forward
Exactly.
at
Yeah.
any go. Like tell the folks that are watching, like what was the style of play that you came from? Like what was the philosophy and what did the coach do and what were you
Yeah.
used to?
We try to build up the play like from the back all the time. Two center backs at the edge of the 20-yard box and play and start playing and keep the ball and try to build up your attack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like try to go as fast as possible forward. Try to build it up and find the gaps, find the open lanes, and try to attack with a plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And
What
pretty
is
much most of the teams in Austria play like this.
play with that possession style and kind of like try to like the way I view it is like you're trying to have a tempo to the game where you feel like you're more in control and it's not just like you're just attack like it's nice to
That's like
attack but
if you're like 1-0 down, 2-0 down, 15 minutes like before the end of the game, like in the 80th minute, 75th minute, then you play like this. You need to score. You need to force it. You kind of force it, but
yeah,
like first,
you gotta get to
yeah.
goal.
But if
Interesting.
everything is like if it's in your control, you're up, then you try to keep the ball as long as possible. So if you're 2-0 up, there's no need to rush there. We have still points if we win 1-0 or 5-0. So why we should risk anything if we win 2-0 or something like that?
So how is it playing against uh tell us about your experience like playing against these American colleges versus the team you came from there in Austria.
Like in America, at first there is a huge gap between different colleges. There is very good colleges and there is very low level colleges. We beat some teams like 10-0, 12-0. That's not happening in Austria. It's like as I explained, the league with promotion and relegation zone. So the level of the league, nearly everybody can beat everybody. Or not nearly everybody, it is everybody. So sometimes the first one loses to the last one. This wouldn't happen in America, but the top teams are pretty much the same level.
I will say because I came from an undergrad school, so the level the level of our last conference was very close, like one through six the competition was very close, so you wouldn't see as many of these you wouldn't see as many of these like the 10-0s and 12s and the high scoring games wouldn't be so much because there's just there's so much competition. There's no one team is that far away from even the best team, and the best team isn't that much far away from the teams that are in second, third, all the way even through like seven. So
Yeah, I
I
think it
think
depends where you are,
yeah,
like
yeah.
which state or which area.
Which I mean it's new for me as well because I mean I've never played here in Wisconsin or up here in the north, so a lot of these schools I don't know them. I know a lot of schools in the south and a lot of players there because a lot of my teammates went to schools in the south, so we know how competitive it is in the south. Not to say that it's not competitive up here, but we just don't know where the the competitive teams are at time. So it makes it seem as if there's no competition because you'll end up playing some schools and it's hard for them to put up a fight against like strong sides that we have. How do you feel with because in college we were playing like 2 games a week, and you came from a system where you basically only play once a week, so you can build up. It's like how'd that feel and everything?
It felt pretty, I don't know, I wasn't used to it. I was used to like we our practice sessions in Austria. We practice differently every week. It depends which team we play on the weekend. So like Monday was it depends when we played, but usually we play Friday or Saturday. So Monday was a tougher session. Tuesday we started to figure out how the other team on the weekend plays, or how they want to play, and what we should do. And then the Thursday and Friday, or only the Thursday session, it depends if we play Friday or Saturday, was just very low pace with only tactics, like what we want to do, what we force them to do, something like that. So the whole week was only made or built up for the game. And in the United States, it was just like practice, game, practice. So there was no time to build the whole week for one game, because we had like 3 games a week. We had 5 games in 7 days, 8 days, something like that. So it was pretty much playing.
Yeah, it's hard to game plan because
Yeah,
by the time you game plan, you've already played the game, so you have to get ready for the next team. So it's like you get barraged with so many games, and it's like a nonstop for almost like 2 months, and then most teams will probably get they always get like a break. You'll get like you always get like a 1 week break in there somewhere. So that's like the 1 week that everyone looks forward to, because it's like finally the car kind of slows down a little bit and you can kind of catch up and fix things.
yeah, and also get like, I don't know, not sore again.
Yeah, you get time off, because it physically it's exhausting, and also mentally it takes a toll. You don't realize it, but it starts to take a toll, like that constant pattern of 2-3 games a week. It takes a toll on you mentally, and it's draining. So when you finally
It
get to
is.
that week where it's like you get a full week of just like normal training, it's just like refreshing, and it kind of helps rejuvenate you. Was with us. We go all the way to we go to Georgia, play in our conference semifinal game. We fall a little bit short. So Flo, because as he explained to you guys earlier, he's like a medical student, so you're still pursuing like your medical doctorate like degree as well. Is that what I could say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us like uh because you've told us like about like your experience and everything. So like what's the one thing you could tell like give advice to some of these people that are going to watch this, because that's one thing that I'm big with on my channel here is a lot of the experiences that I've went through. I want to share them so other people don't make, I don't want to call them mistakes, but it's good that you know that someone went through this experience. That way, when you go through it, when it's your time, you'll understand like this is a possibility. So like, what would be like, some like, I'd say like you could give like 3 or more. Like, what would be your advice for like future like internationals looking to come play in college soccer and stuff like that? Like, what's your advice to them?
Like soccer wise, or
Yeah, everything. Just about coming to the United States, soccer, everything.
like soccer wise, I would say to improve, listen and try to understand what other people say. That's the most important thing, and try to surround you or to talk to experienced players, like late 20s, 30-year-old players. They can explain so many things. They can talk to you. They can give also advice. And with the thing going to a college and play, it was very nice. I loved it. I would do it every time again like this if I had the chance to. And I don't regret it. It was funny. It was nice meeting people from all over the world. It was like we had an Australian player, we had South Americans, we had African players, a bunch of Europeans, also Americans. So it was like players from all places. It was nice to know all these guys. It's not only about players, it's also about the guys behind the players. Great guys. I became friends with a lot of them and still talk to them. It's nice to have friends all over the world.
For sure, that's one thing. Being on like different sports teams. I guess because when I played, everyone who played club soccer is obviously going to be from here in the U.S. But once I got to college and I started playing with international guys, it kind of opened up my thinking and opened up my head. Like the experiences you guys went through, like some things we went through were similar, and it's like, oh, you went through that? That's cool. And then some things it's like, you guys didn't do that? We did that. And then something you're like, we did this, you guys didn't do that? So like those conversations would always come up in training, bus rides, hotels. So like just that experience of just like sharing different experiences, I feel like it's a good thing, especially from people all over the world, like you said, because we could pretty much say like our team is global because we have so many people from so many parts of the world, and that's how a lot of college soccer teams are. It's like it's a mix of so many different cultures and peoples and backgrounds and everything.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, how often do you get the chance to talk to a Italian guy, turn around and talk to a, I don't know, Brazilian guy or whatever players are in the team you join? And it's good. It was a great experience.
That's nice. So you only had your 1 year of eligibility. So then you went back you're now in Austria. So for the people who don't know, he's not here in Wisconsin. He's in Austria. So like, well, what have you been doing since then? You've been playing with the team that you're back with the team that you left to come to the US with, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm back with the team before, like the same team I was before I left. And yeah, I started practice the first week. It was the second week of the second half of the season again. I practiced all week. Then I had to play in the second team because every men's team have a second team. I had to play there once, and then one of the center backs of the first team got injured, and then I got the possibility to start after the second week practice back home. I could start in the first team again. It was great. And it wasn't, I didn't need to adapt a lot because it wasn't like a new team. I knew, or I know all the players around me. It's just two different players. So it's like I never left, it felt great
To be back.
to be back.
That's good to hear. Good to hear. So what are your plans for like the next, like what are your plans going into the like throughout the season and going into like next year? So you'll still pretty much stick with that team?
I think so, yeah. I think I will stay at this team. I love the guys there. It's a good level of football. Soccer, sorry. It's a good level. It's a good level and great guys there. They're all my friends. We hang out a lot together. So yeah, I will stay at this team. And in October, I start with school again, with medical school.
That'll
Or I
be good.
return, basically, not start.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I think you've done a great job telling us about your experiences and everything. Is there anything you feel like you missed that you want to let people know about that they should know about? Or I mean, I feel like we hit a lot of good points today and everything. So what do you think?
I think we got everything we needed to.
That's good. So, guys, as always, it's Michael, Elite Footballer Training. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe, like. I'll put Flo's Instagram details. You guys go follow him on Instagram and all that good stuff. Uh, Once again, Flo, thank you for taking the time. It's like,
Thank you.
what time is it there right now?
3 a.m.
I have this man at 3 a.m. You guys have to subscribe or at least like the video. Come on, like the video. Comment Flow in the comment sections. Let him know we appreciate his time. It's 3 in the morning. He took the time out to kind of give you guys his experience playing college soccer. That way, it helps some of the Europeans out there, some of the American guys. It just helps anybody. Uh, that's the whole. That's the whole vibe around this channel. Is just uh, let's put content out there. Let's talk about our experiences. That way other people can share their experiences and we all can learn from each other. That's the that's the biggest thing. So with that being said, Flo, thank you once again for joining us here today. Well, me and you will definitely have to catch up in the future about everything and how your team goes and everything. But we appreciate you for taking the time to be here with us today.
Thank you.
Alrighty, guys, it's Michael here, Elite Footballer Training. See you guys in the next video. Thank you.